Welcome to another episode of European Motors. My name is Rick, and today we're going to be looking at the Mercedes C63 AMG. We're going to be looking at the 6.2 liter V8 in this car. So this is a monster. This is a naturally aspirated vehicle. There's no turbos in this car. 0 to 60 is 3.9 seconds, just shy of 4 seconds, and it is just a fast car. It is incredible. Now, if you guys are a fan of Doug DeMuro, which I am of course, he loves to go into the quirks and just interesting, unique functions of a vehicle. And I don't think he's done a C63 AMG. Plus, I want to do my take on this as well. So hopefully you enjoy it. I'm just going to show you some of the unique functions that maybe in a standard C-Class you won't see, but in this car you'll absolutely see. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you haven't seen my V10 M5 6-speed manual review, or just to look at the quirks for that car, go ahead and take a look at that. That one pretty much inspired this one. So let's take a look. Hopefully you enjoy it. So one of the first things that you notice about this car, it's super obvious that this car is a stunner. You have to really look. You have to really look at something like these wheels. These are original wheels for this car. It's the 5-spoke. They're wonderful. They have the AMG on them. And look at those calipers. These are huge 6-piston calipers. 3 on one side, 3 on the other. Huge. And you can see, of course, also the cross-drilled rotors to help dissipate the heat. And of course this car needs it. Massive brakes in the front. Also in back you can see massive brakes in the back, 4 pistons in the back. And again, this is something that if you notice in the AMG you will not see in the standard C-Class, a C300 or C250. So the front tires are 235s 40 ZR18s, and the back tires are 255 35 ZR18. Now, no one can even understand this car without taking a look at the engine. So let's pop that hood. The way this opens, there's a latch right over here on the left side. You're gonna kind of feel for it. And there you go. Now, what I love about this hood, and I don't believe this is unique on the C63, but I have to show it to you, is that you can literally open this hood straight up. Look at that. And that is great for working on it, but it's also great to showcase the engine. Now, again, this is a 6.2 liter V8 pumping out 451 horsepower. Now, unlike the regular C250 or C300 or C350, this is a hand-built engine. This was built by one individual, start to finish. There's about 50 at the AMG headquarters, roughly, and they hand-built this engine. And so that's one of the strengths of this vehicle is the engine. They're super bulletproof. I mean, Pagani uses AMG engines. The SLR McLaren, of course, has one. So many wonderful cars. Now, they're also stamped Tony Brenner. Tony Brenner was the individual that, beginning to end, put this engine together, hand-built this engine. It says it right there. And what's great is that some people even want certain cars with certain builders because they want that builder, they like their little touches, and every builder is a little different. Of course, they can't just do whatever they want, but they have little cues and little things that they can do to make their engine unique. And so people sometimes request certain names, and so this is Tony Brenner, and I think he did a good job. My car is approaching 95,000 miles, and it's been bulletproof. Like, it has been bulletproof. Like, this car is amazing. Other things that I want to show about the C63 AMG, you look in the front and just the bumper, you can see how large it is compared to the regular C-Class, and you can see just because it needs all that air to be fed into that engine, vents over here to allow airflow and so forth. You of course get that wonderful C63 badge. So this is how people most find out that you have a special car. They pull up right next to you and they see that, or they eye that, and they're like, oh, okay, this is something big. And before I get to the rear of the car, I want to show you these, whatever you call these long humps that are on the vehicle. And they're really reminiscent of the Mercedes Gullwing back in the 50s. And it's a beautiful, beautiful design cue. The only thing is when you're in the driver's seat, this is right in the middle. And so it kind of throws you off a little bit in the beginning if you're not familiar, because you don't really see the middle of the car. You see this and it just looks so mean. In case you need a good reminder, the AMG badge is in the back on the right hand side, and on the left the C63 of course is on there. Now people can put those on there, but when you listen to this car, you know that there's a special engine in it. Has to have that quad exhaust. See, that's a big difference from the 250, the 300, or even the 350, but this quad exhaust is needed. Of course, one of the obvious and great things about this car is that it is a sedan. It's very practical. Now, it is on the compact sedan side, but let me tell you, it's still very, very spacious. Let me show you in the back here what I love. If you look at the back seats, there's 2 indentations, and those are for the legs, so that when you sit over here, you definitely have enough room. So let me show you how I fit in there. So I'm almost 6 feet tall. Let's get in there and let me show you how much room I have. So I'm gonna get in here. It is a little cramped, although I do have the seat set for me, and so you have to keep that in mind. But if you look over here, it's not bad, and there's some indentations here. Now, I am by no means super comfortable, but if someone was a little bit shorter, they'd be fine. Like, this is great for maybe, I don't know, a half an hour drive somewhere. I mean, if you're going on 2-3 hours, you might run into a little bit of discomfort, but I love these things indented into the seat to give you just that little bit more room that you need. Now, there are really no issues. The headroom is fairly minimal, extra, but I'm not cramped at all. Like, I'm sitting up straight, I'm good. If you'd be 6'3", 6'4", you probably have an issue being back here. That's just being honest. You're well off just sitting in the front. But other than that, I mean, you're gonna fare pretty well. Anyone less than 6 feet is gonna, I guess, be pretty perfect down here. And there's even a middle seat, but again, it is a little bit limited in the space, but it is possible to fit a third person back here, so that's kind of cool. A couple things. What you'll notice is that the car is very, very similar on the inside to the regular C-Class, although it does have the little finishing touches, like the AMG over here has the AMG over here, and it's found on all 4 sides as well. Also, these seats, these are special seats. These are sport seats, and they keep you very tight into the car. You can see, it doesn't even say Mercedes, it says AMG, just to remind you what you're in, and it has these thick side bolsters. Now, they don't move or anything like that, they're just static. However, if you go over here, you do have pretty nice settings that you can adjust. You have 3, and so these inflate different parts of the seat. They inflate these to make them a little bit tighter. They inflate the back here, and basically you're at rest. So it's a very, very interesting seat. It's not uncomfortable. After about 2.5 hours, 3 hours, you probably want to get out and just stretch a little bit. But these are definitely sport seats. These are not made to cruise, let's say 6-7 hours in. They're made to, you know, hold you in your seat when you're on the track. So let's get inside. Of course, it's a 4-door, so it's very easy to get inside. Now, I have plenty of room over here. You can see headroom. I have tons of headroom, and there is a sunroof, so that's pretty good. It does open up. You hit the switch over here, and it opens up now. Now, of course, this is in the standard C-Class, but I want to show you that the car has this available. Some of the cars don't even have this option for a sports car that has 400 and something horsepower with a sunroof. So I do want to show you that, although maybe this is not a unique quirk, it is something that is pretty special, because again, some car companies don't even put sunroofs in their cars. But I love this. This is, to me, some people think it might be a little bit gimmicky, but look at that. It hides right in, so that if you're in a neighborhood or you don't want people to know you have that you can have it. Now, one of the great things is you can actually turn on the car. It'll open up, it'll pop out, but you still want the music to roll. It is definitely possible. So you hit this button over here and it'll hide it, but you still can get your music. So there you go. There you can see the gas stations. I didn't even highlight them, but look, it says there's a 76 there and a Shell and the Mobile back over there on the top right. So that's pretty cool. It's telling you where the gas stations are, but I think that's really important, because sometimes I travel or I go somewhere where I don't know, and what I'm looking for is the nearest gas station. So that's super helpful. I want to show you a feature that's a little weird. To me, it's one of the biggest quirks of this car. I don't get it. If someone could explain it to me, please let me know. So this is kind of like an iDrive system in the BMW. You do see that there's a wheel there, so you think, oh, this is convenient. I could scroll through options and so forth. So you can definitely push on this. You can go left and right, you can go up and down, but you can also spin, and so that would be great for lists. But let me show you something. No matter what type of list you can do, because again, I've had this car, and so let's go to audio. Alright, so the logic here would be that if I scroll like this, you can go up and down on this list, but it won't do it. The only way I can go down to sat radio and so forth is if I do this. I'm going down, and now I'm going up. And look, that's how it works. I think this is one of the weirdest features. I don't know, but this is in the whole menu. This function doesn't work at all. Like, it doesn't work at all. And some people think it's this car, but it's not. It's just one of those quirks that I don't understand, but I guess it just is what it is. You do see that there is a C highlighted over there. That means that your car right now is in comfort mode. But you press it once, and then you get the car in sport mode. That's the most aggressive mode. It holds the shifts really, really, really long. This is an automatic transmission. It's not a dual clutch, it's a standard automatic, and so I think that's one of the weaknesses of that car, if you ask me. But you can also put it into manual mode, and it's kind of like a Tiptronic. You use these paddles, and it's not a true manual. So just to let you know, that's how it works, and it's not a dual clutch either. There is a torque converter. So let me just close the door here. It's in comfort mode. I'm gonna put the car in drive. And look at this, the car goes into second gear. That shows the gears. Now I can manually change them, but whenever you're in comfort mode, the car automatically takes off in second gear. That's how much torque this car has, and you would never ever notice. Now let me come over here and press sport mode, and let me show you what happens. Take a look at that C. It turns into an S, and look, the car now starts in first gear. You can definitely get into trouble if you're not careful. The traction control does kick in, which is right over here. But again, I would not recommend it because this car is very squirrely if you put your pedal to the metal or even put too much acceleration through a turn. So be careful with that. You can turn the ESP off. I've never really done it in this car, honestly. It has so much power and so much torque. Over here, it's great. It has a great thing for your iPod, so I can pick up my iPod and hook it up right away. There's also a 12-volt charger right there. You can put a cigarette lighter, but there's also an auxiliary in, which I think is great, which also goes through the system. So if you don't have an iPod or have something else, it will work as well. These cup holders are great. There's 2 of them, and it is just great to have that as an option. This is a little bit of storage that is here. You already saw that glove box, and the storage is pretty deep. As you can see, it goes down over here. It's enough to put your keys, your phone, or whatever you'd like. This is also for the cigarette ashtray. However, I usually put my phone here. It just works well. It fits perfectly here. Now, I'm very familiar with Mercedes. I've even driven some from the 80s and the 70s, but let me tell you, this is something unique to Mercedes that I'll kind of never understand. It's just a thing, and I think it's kind of cool. It has its negatives and positives, but this is the parking brake. So what you do, it's a pedal. It's a third pedal, and you push it, the parking brake is engaged. You will see brake right over there under the temperature gauge right there. See brake? And then how do you release it? I think this is the coolest thing. If you've never had a Mercedes, this is just so surprising. You literally pull this and the pedal pops out. Watch this. See that? So now the parking brake is off. One of the things I don't like about that function, it's so great because it frees up the space here for the brake, or even on this side. What I don't like is one thing. When I usually get in, sometimes I get in like this and I'll hit it. Like I didn't do it this time, but sometimes I'll just go like this nonchalantly and I'll hit it. That could be a little easy, but it's just something to note. And then of course you just pull and you are good. But I think that's a very interesting function. Also, this car is equipped with the Harman Kardon speakers. These are fantastic speakers. The car sounds so great. Speakers here. You have speakers on this side. You also have some up here. And I really have to say they sound great. You have a speaker here, and of course speakers all throughout the back. So for the rear shade, you just hit this button and then it pops up. And this is not a unique feature of this car, but I think it's a great thing so that you don't get the sun beating down back of your head. But it's a great function and comes up pretty much automatically. It's very quick and it's very elegant. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully this gave you an idea about this car, the C63 AMG. If you are interested in the sound and seeing how this car drives and rides, I have tons of videos on this car, both in a POV form, and I have others where I'm reviewing the best or the worst things about this car. Again, I've had this car for a while, but I do enjoy it, and hopefully you enjoy this video as well. If you want to see more things like this, just let me know down in the comments below and maybe suggest what type of car. And don't forget to leave a thumbs up and to subscribe for more car videos. This is a channel just dedicated on cars, so welcome if you are new. Hopefully I'll see you next time, and don't forget, drive safe.
Like a broken soul in a wonderland without a